up, all you Schwick heads, all you road dogs and hellcats? Welcome back to Behind the Wheel. I am your infamous host, Shari Schwick of Schwick Wheels. And this empty chair to my left will be Uncle Billy. And what's not empty next to me is our guest today, Alex, owner, director, creator of Alex Wraps New York.
Nice to be here.
Thank you for being here. And who do you have with you today, Alex?
This is my child and CEO, Zero, so he calls all the shots.
Chief Executive Officer in the building.
Mm-hmm. You can make your statements later.
Nice to have you, Zero. Thanks for coming in, Alex.
Yes.
We're really excited to have you on this show. So for anyone who does follow Schwick Wheels and wants to know what's going on behind the scenes, the badass, wicked raps that have been going on, this guy right
there
here.
It is. Behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, now in front of the camera, Alex Wraps. So, Alex, talk to me a little bit about your interest in cars, getting into cars, and ultimately, going into business for yourself.
That is a pretty interesting story. I've always been into like tuner cars and stuff like that.
Oh.
So where I'm from, Yonkers, there's like nothing where you can go for like wraps and performance and stuff like that. At least when growing up, right?
Yeah.
So I started my own performance shop, and I made a lot of mistakes because there's really no market in Yonkers for performance parts,
Okay.
One day I was running the shop and someone asked me, "Hey, can you wrap my hood?" And I was just like, "No, but I can try." So I stayed all night studying how to wrap and stuff like that. So came in the next day, I just wrapped the hood and it came out decent, for my first wrap ever. And then from there, people kept asking me for custom stuff like, "Oh, can you put some underglow on my car?" or "Can you wrap my wing?" and things like that. So it just started kind of snowballing from there.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for a couple shops here and there. I prefer doing my own thing because I feel like it's more of a connection with my clients.
Yeah.
Like I get to build relationships with who I work with and see your ideas come to life as opposed to, okay, Alex, wrap this car, get it done in a week, and have no communication with the client.
Yeah.
Or even see like if they liked it or they didn't like it. That's all feedback to like myself and how I can get better in my career.
That's incredible. One of the first things you said, just kind of, can you imagine someone just like saying, "Wrap my hood"?
Yeah.
Like out of context, that sounds very funny. And then, no, entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted. And I really appreciate you saying how, starting out in the auto performance side, like it wasn't going the way you intended. And I always say, if you're not failing, you're not succeeding, because there's just no learning that comes any other way than just falling on your ass, picking it back up and be like, okay, this is what I want. So
There's
that's been incredible.
So many learning experiences in failure, and people are so afraid to fail, but that's essentially how you're going to get better, right? If I wrap a car and I get absolutely no feedback, I'm not going to know if it was a good wrap or a bad wrap or anything like that. So if I wrap a car and someone says, "Hey, you did a terrible job," I'm going to do everything in my power to try to do better next time.
Yeah.
And, that's the relationship that you build with your clients. Right. If someone's unhappy with my work, I always make sure to try to make it right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's another piece of, running your own business that I particularly love. And that, we've also been, full disclosure, we've been your clients, and there is something about that vulnerability of being with your installer, from the jump, doing design work, knowing who's on your car. There's no middle person. It's not me going to a supervisor or clicking a la carte on a website and being like,
You're not sure what you're getting.
Exactly. Or just, we've all had sales experiences where you have the salesperson, they seem very emotionally connected to you, and then it goes to the next person on the assembly line. There's something really nice and vulnerable, and I think speaks to the quality. I like to think so, because I think the work that you've done on our stuff has been incredibly beautiful. But bigger picture, there's something vulnerable that happens with client to designer, installer, and then seeing that whole process. And like you said, because now we have a mutual investment. Yes, I might be paying you, but like you said, as an owner, you are invested in me, in the relationship. And I think that really is the biggest difference between entrepreneurs, small business owners, and maybe doing something on the bigger corporate side of things.
I mean, making you happy is like, it's like the big picture. Like if I work on a project, I want to make sure that you are enjoying the process and the end result, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, once you leave the shop and our business is done, you're out in the world with, you know, something that I created. I want you to be happy with it. I want other people to see it and be like, wow, that's amazing. So that's why I like doing what I do.
Yeah. And you're also online. You have built quite a social following on your channels. And so, for instance, we've also had the experience, and I won't name names, of being with quite of a national brand and sending them something of ours. They worked on it. They gave it back to us, but we lost all of that intimacy of like how it was going, what does it look like when, you know, when anyone follows you on social media, which is, you want to say your handle real quick?
Alex the Rapper, very simple.
So simple. Where we're seeing you taking off the fenders, we're seeing things on time lapse. Talk to me a little bit about why you choose to do to show the beginning, middle, and the end, and the care that you take with your before and after work.
Well, in my career, I've met a lot of installers that work on cars that have been in the industry for 10 plus years, you know, maybe even 15, 20 years, that have nothing to show for it. Like they don't record a single video. All they care about is getting the job done, right? And I felt like, nah, that's like, we should share this to the world. Like people should know like the process and the beginning, middle, and end result. So I like to just record as much as I can. And of course, there are projects where I can't share. But whenever I work on a new project, you know, I'll ask you directly and say, hey, can I take videos? And can we make this like this feature instead of just a small project that no one is going to get to see?
Yeah.
And it's cool because it's a growing industry. So people are always interested in what's cool, what's new, and how to do things. So I don't always make tutorials, but like from the videos that I do, people can learn from it and hopefully they can get better at their own skill set, you know?
That's a perfect segue. Oh, and a sidestep for a second. As a customer, I can't tell you how, because you're very contemporaneous. Like you will, as you are going in a project, like I know like you're a step or two, you'll post 2 steps ago. And as a customer, I'm like following you to be like, oh, is it going to post? It's going to post. And I'm like, bang, bang, bang. You know what I mean? It's brilliant. So, but yeah, those tutorials that you mentioned, you had our Range Rover recently. Maybe we'll cut to the Rover, the scene. But the lettering of Range Rover on the hood, you took the time, you're explaining how to get the imprint of the Range Rover, and then you're going back. I really enjoyed that piece.
Yeah, I definitely like to show like my insight into how I do things, because as just one installer, there's like 50 different professionals that'll look at that video and be like, that's the wrong way to do it. And then there's 1,000 people that'll be like, that's a great idea, I'm gonna do it too. So that's why I like to share, because if it makes the job easier and it looks professional and it saves time, like why not do it? Like there is so many wrong ways to do it, but there's also so many right ways to do it.
Yeah.
So, and then like a lot of people will do things like that and just keep it as a secret, like a industry secret, and just gatekeep. And I'm like, this is exactly how I do it. And there's a lot of things that I do that I want to just put out in the world more often, but it's still a lot of work at the end of the day, and I'm trying to get better at sharing my tips and tricks and things like that.
You're good enough and confident enough that you know how to show somebody how to stencil is not going to ruin your business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because there's two different views from it. So I'll get comments from the video itself saying, "Oh, that's the wrong way to do it." And then in the real world, I'll go to other shops and then be like, "Hey, I saw your video. That's a great idea. I'm gonna do it for my shop now, and that'll be the new standard." So it's always two sides of the coin. As long as it's really helping people, then that's the benefit to everyone.
Well, Pitbull says it perfectly. If you're not being hated on, you're not doing something right.
Popping, right?
I love Pitbull. I love you. I watch you every morning from my motivational entrepreneurship, manifesting all of that. Okay. So what I'd like to do as we're waiting for the empty chair to my left is kind of go through the latest projects at Schwick Wheels. And speaking of being hated on, I think the best one to start with is the infamous Challenger. So putting up a shot of our Challenger right now, you will see it's that play on the purple plum crazy. There's a Hellcat emblem, looks like a hurricane out of it, and then everything else that went on. So, and by the way, you have full disclosure to talk about us and how that went. Let's break that down. And was this one of the first project? Was this the first project we had with you?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I think, yes.
That's quite a first project.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I met Billy when it was still white. He came into the shop and, it
this
still
is
had
my Challenger.
Yeah, it still had the stripes.
Wrap it.
The biggest concern there was, should we take off the stripes or leave the stripes? So that took a while to even decide. But there was a lot of decision making there.
Yeah,
a lot of back and forth.
I forgot about that decision. Let's break that down. So for anyone who doesn't know, go to the channel, look at it. It's a 2021 Dodge Challenger Hellcat Widebody Red Eye. Does have Borla Attack on it. Thank you very much. And it came stock white from Dodge with the two very thick carbon fiber racing stripes. And so we had that conversation of when we were designing the full body of the car, what wrap we were going to do. And I was on the side originally of, no, I want the stripes to stay. Mm-hmm. And so we had a little bit of back and forth. You gave me great counseling because, again, you are the installer. You're with me, with the customer from beginning to end. And I remember you explaining it to me like, okay, Shar, when I go to print this wrap, I can print it in one piece, or we're going to apply it in one piece, or then I have to start cutting it and reapplying it in sections. And I went, oh. And then I remember the biggest decision, which was, I don't want to lose my carbon fiber. And you very generously told me that what?
That it wasn't even real carbon fiber.
It wasn't real carbon fiber.
I call it carbon fiber because it's just like wrap carbon.
Yes. So it was a sticker of carbon fiber on my hood, which is why I never say that I'm a car enthusiast. I'm a people enthusiast. But it was you who said, sorry, Charlie, you don't have carbon fiber on the hood. And I was shocked. Like the naked eye. Like I got sold probably something higher on MSRP and it was not carbon fiber.
Yeah.
So how did you get those stripes off? Because that was cool. Because that's a part of the video as well.
So I thought it would be a little bit more difficult to take off because they're from factory, right? And it's basically just a normal wrap, and it came off with some heat. So yeah,
that hurts. But I think that was a good decision. Was obviously to take my faux stripes, my carbon fiber off of my car. Because we affectionately do call the Challenger Shari's kitty cat. And so that was a big deal. So there was a lot of back and forth that went between me, Billy, and you with the original design. We started out with like some kind of like galaxy look.
Yeah, I think we first started with marble, like a marble,
Okay.
granite type design.
Okay.
Kind of mixed in with some galaxy. We went through a lot of variations. So originally we wanted the whole car to be reflective, but again, with the seams, the reflective printed material is only about 48 inches and your hood is like 50 inches. So there would have to be some stretching or some seams involved.
Yeah.
And in that sense, you know, you want to make sure that everything just looks good. So we just went with like the normal metallic print. Zero's kind of going crazy.
Yeah, and then I love what you did, because what people don't realize is, so what I call the purple hurricane, that's one wrap. Then the Hellcat logos came after. So they're...
except the one on the hood.
Except the one on the hood. Yeah, if you look very closely, there is a hood logo embossed underneath the wrap. So you don't really see it until you're on it. And I thought that was nice.
I mean, you could definitely just add a bunch of stuff like on top of a wrap, but then I feel like you already have a lot going on. You already have two big Hellcats on the side, two light up smaller Hellcats.
Yep.
So the last thing we need is another Hellcat on the hood, but you know, the fact that it's embossed, the more the merrier.
And then what I loved, the effect that came out was not only did I get my hurricane, but then the white of the hurricane looks like it's coming out of the mouth of the Hellcat. And so it's kind of like this hell freezing over kind of a thing.
It was a great theme. And I think we went through like 8 or 10 different revisions before we settled on that design, because that was the original design, right? And then we started going into like, okay, how crazy can we make it? Let's add a bunch of different colors. And then, you know, you came back and you're just like, let's just go back with the original design, what we had in mind. And it came out amazing.
I think it must be hard as a rapper to lead people to colors. And then also, I mean, I don't know where you fall with yourself with purist and car enthusiast and all this mumbo jumbo. But on this particular wrap, I thought it was nice where Dodge does have the color plum crazy. And then I was in love with the color called purple hypnotic. And then you were able to kind of like get it all. So it's like this homage to Dodge.
Yeah.
Because the plum crazy is definitely in there. And then just taking it to a custom, you know, one of one wrap, because that's exactly what it is. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I appreciate that you loved it so much. It was a pretty long project, right? Like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So originally, whose idea was it to add like all the lights and stuff?
I blame you mostly. No, I think Billy got really creative. I'll let him say his side of the story. It came out amazing. I mean, I am dying to get to a night car show because, I mean, it's bananas. One other thing I want to talk about before we bring Billy in, hopefully soon, and or go to another car is we went viral, my friend.
Yes, we did.
There is a reel, what's it up to now? 8.5 million views?
Yeah, I haven't checked, but
I
it
think
kind
it's
of blew
8.5.
up. Very unexpectedly.
Very controversial. We got a lot of anger about it.
Yes.
Like hate.
I think that's why it went viral, because everyone just hated it or had some
it was fantastic.
Judgment towards it.
So again, it's on Schwick Wheels Instagram and it's on Alex the Rapper Instagram if you haven't seen it. You're gonna have to scroll down a little bit, but yeah. And what did you do, Alex, that made everybody so angry?
Yeah, so the car was pretty much done. Wrap was done. I think we were just finalizing with the wiring and stuff. So I had some extra time.
Just had some time on my hands after a 3-week project,
right?
With new customers who yell at each other all the time.
You did mention, because I don't do upholstery, that's its own genre. Like,
agreed.
You mentioned that you wanted to redo the stitching because you didn't like the white stitching. So I looked online on Amazon and I found a pen that's water soluble. You know, it's cheap, it's not expensive. So let me try it out. So I ordered the pen. It came in next day and I just went to town on the stitching. I tested a little piece just to check if, you know, it would actually rub off.
I'm glad to hear that now.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so that worked. So let me do all of the stitching and make a video about it. And it kind of just blew up. Like, I didn't expect that kind of response. People were just like, you can do that? Like, I guess so. Like, I'm guessing probably the first person to make a video about it because those type of pens have been on the market for so long. But
what are the name of those pens? Maybe they'll give you a stack of pens.
I wish. It's a overseas paint pen.
Overseas paint pen.
Yeah.
That's right. Some people knew who it was.
Yeah. Some people called it right away.
Yeah. I think there's been over 20,000 comments. I want to say it's 27,000 comments, but it's a lot of comments.
Yeah, I stopped looking after a while.
Yeah, I can't even get them fast enough. Like, some of my favorites were like, oh, that's what you do when your credit score is below 500.
Mm-hmm. I saw some comments where like, yeah, that'll be $1,000 now. Like,
yeah.
It's like, and the funny thing is like, I didn't even add it to the invoice because one of the things about that is it hasn't been tested before. You know, I wasn't sure how long it was going to last. I did it in my free time.
If I was going to kill you.
Yeah.
Right?
So there was a lot of factors there, right? So, you know, whenever I'm testing things, I'm like, okay, at the minimum, I get a video out of it. So that's why I did it. And it just happened to kind of blow up. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Such a small detail. Maybe it was a Hellcat. Maybe it was because, I don't know, it could have been so many factors.
It was so fun. There was like, and then what's kind of fun is how like other people come to your defense when someone's saying something so asinine. Mm-hmm. So like somebody was like, why, you know, you should restitch it, this and that. And then something ridiculous about the color. And someone finally said something like, well, they don't make purple sheep. Like, in the sense of like, it's going to be dyed at some point, regardless of when it goes in the car.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
I mean, my train of thought, and I think I did mention it in a comment, is like, you could either spend like at least over $500 getting it restitched. Like, it's a long process.
Very long process.
So you could either do that or spend an hour, 2 hours just to take this pen and put it on the stitching. It gives you basically the same results.
Yeah.
It's lasted, right? It's been
so far
months and the stitching is still fine. And I think their biggest comments on that was like, oh, it's gonna fade after like a day. Don't wear a white t-shirt. It's like we've done all that and had no issues. Yeah. Surprisingly, it just worked.
So concerned
flawlessly.
for my t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, here he is.
The man himself.
You want a minute or you want to come in? Hi, baby.
I got like 15 minutes.
Can you be friendly at least?
Yeah, hi. Make sure his phone's off.
That would be good. Well, you smell shower fresh.
Yeah, I got 30 minutes.
Okay. Put your headphones on, please.
Oh.
You're wearing your Aeropostale pants.
I didn't even want to say that. I kept the shirt off on purpose.
All right.
If Austin stopped taking all my money, I could afford a better shirt.
All right, talking to the microphone, dear.
Hello there. Good?
That was the test.
How you doing?
So, you know this young man over here?
Mm-hmm.
It's Alex.
Alex, like yes. Rolex. Oh, that's
Rolex,
good.
That's what it cost me to wrap my car. Alex is so sweet about it. He goes, listen, I'm going to send you a proposal, like real quietly. Then he hits you over the head.
No.
There's a reason why it's 10 grand. You know, it's professionalism.
So we just finished talking about the Challenger.
And we have another one.
No, so
we're gonna do it all over again.
So talk to me about like what it was like that day to have it revealed to you for the first time.
It was different. I love the work that was done on the car. I mean,
It was like surprise.
It was like night and day.
After surprise.
It was like night and day. You know, it went from a black and white car to a hypnotic car.
Yeah.
Now it's beautifully done and crafted by Alex with lights and imprints. He did an amazing job on the car.
So it was like being on HD TV with like the house reveal. It was so cool. So like you remember walking in, and first of all, you just see the wrap, and you don't see anything else in the world except how beautiful it is.
Well, to be honest with you, at the car show yesterday, was when I really got a good look.
We
from a
presented it
distance.
yesterday.
Like 50 feet away, if you're walking towards the car, you could see everything. The letters on the tire.
Yes.
The hypnotic purple. It changes colors on the hood.
Nice.
I just noticed that for the first time yesterday. Alex didn't reveal that to me, though. So everything that was done the right way, even down to the switch inside the car.
Yes. So what I was getting at is, so we see the wrap, and then you bring my attention to the Hellcat emblems, and you took the time, and you took the red eye, and then you put in an LED light, and so the eye of the Hellcat is now purple, and it lights up.
Yeah. And we actually did that in black chrome, so we sprayed some black clear over the emblem because when I first put it on over the purple, it was like really bright. So we decided to darken it up, put a light in the eye, and it.
Yeah. So we have that. Then you were going bonkers about that. And then you go, okay, let me show you what we did underneath the hood. I said, what? And then it's like, there's like a rave going on underneath the hood. Do you remember this? Yeah. And then like, that was awesome. And then you go, okay, wait, are you ready to see the trunk now?
And she was like, what?
What? And he took the fabric on the top lid of the trunk on the inside, and there's a Schwick wheels with the Hellcat, and you only way
he
I
hand
can say
stitched
you hand stitched it.
The same technique they use as on a headliner to get the starlight effect. Same exact thing. I just did it in the trunk. It's much more difficult, but
you did you spelled Schwick wheels all the way out, and a whole Hellcat was there.
Amazing.
Incredible. So now that you're here, I think I've told you this before, but now I'm going to fangirl out on camera, and because you're my witness. And this is a very cool moment for me to have you here on the podcast. When we started Schwick Wheels, one of the first, and I'd never been on Instagram before. And so we start Schwick Wheels and we start the algorithm and this and that. You were one of the first accounts I ever started following. And I was like fangirl. I would hit this and hit that. And then I started manifesting. I showed you and I said, oh, wouldn't it be great if this guy could wrap one of our cars one day? And you're like, yeah. So then fast forward a little bit, we go to a turkey drive for PCNY. You're at the loading dock, and I come up to you and I go, hi, I'm Sherry, and I follow you online. And you were like, I was like, you're Alex the rapper. And you're like, I am. It's very nice to meet you. I was like, thanks. And I went away. Then you moved to Detroit.
Yes.
For a second.
Yes.
And then I had the confidence to like reach out to you, and then you were like posting about your new shop in Detroit, and I thought it was over. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, Detroit don't like him either.
I lived outside Detroit for 2 years.
New York loves him.
I lived outside Ypsilanti, Michigan for 2 years. I lived on 10 Mile. Yeah. Anywho, and then you came back.
Yeah. Michigan was a crazy change of pace. I mean, I really enjoyed my time, but I mean, I guess like what Billy says, I had a lot more love back in New York. When I came back, everyone was just like, "Oh my God, you're back!" Like, so
you don't know what you have until you lose it.
I had so many people reach out. I was like, "I thought you were never coming back." Like, "Oh my God, he's moving to Michigan forever," and you know, I was just. It was
like the best PR move you ever did. It was like going into retirement and like coming back.
And coming back out, yeah.
You got to do like the other guys. They retire every month, then they get out of town.
Yeah.
Bring more people in.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have a project going on right now at Schwick Wheels, Florida. You took... Oh, you got to come closer to the mic, my friend.
Alex, we have the Camaro that Alex did. His idea was, because the color's vampire red, his idea was to put a werewolf on it, chasing the vampire.
I thought you had
His
the
idea.
idea. You had the idea for the werewolf?
Well, it was like a joint decision.
It was a joint decision.
Yeah.
So that is cool that we've never discussed that. So first of all, the Vampire Red was installed by, just to be fair, Chris Brizzi Customs in Mamaroneck, New York. Beautiful, beautiful job. And now we're doing the werewolf. So it's Vampire Red and then taking the taking the storyline a little bit deeper, and then there's a werewolf. How did you find that werewolf? Like, what was your process?
Looking at a lot of werewolves. Yeah. There was a ton of artwork that we went through before settling on something that looked actually good. I think my first variation was a werewolf covered with like broken chains. But then we decided like, oh, we like this one better because it had more like a flow towards the
hair,
back.
the mane of the wolf is my most favorite part of that decision.
So
what happens? You print it and you cut it out? Like what?
Yeah, I had
what
asked
happens?
someone asked me when I posted that video. I was like, oh, where did you get that design? Can I just order it online? And it was 100% custom. Like the design was custom. I had to make, it was like a low resolution photo.
Okay.
I vectorized it. I edited it slightly because there's some things that won't print on a printer if it's too small.
Interesting.
Then I cut it out on it was, I think, 7.5 feet long, right? And about 5 feet wide. And I literally just taped it to the wall and I just...
In all that humidity of Southwest Florida.
Yep.
Without air conditioning.
Well, he has it now. Got air conditioning, humidifier, everything in there. Now I got a fan I can't do nothing with.
So there's two things that happen behind the wheel. We ask our guests out of the Schwick Wheels fleet that's in the house today, what do you want to go behind the wheel of? And a second thing that we're going to be doing with you is a little something that we're now calling full throttle, which is going to be like a lot of like fast either or questions.
Ooh.
Are you up to go full throttle?
Let's go full throttle.
Let's go full throttle. Okay, you ready?
No.
Just whatever comes to your mind first. No guilt.
Okay.
No shame. Just go. Ready?
Ready.
Paddles or stick?
Stick.
Ooh.
This is an easy one for you, I think. Paint or wrap?
I actually like paint.
Truth
Better
comes
than
out.
a rap?
They both have their pros and cons.
Okay.
You can ask any follow-up questions you like, dear.
Well, why do you like paint better?
I like wrap because you have a lot of options. I like paint for like more of a permanent solution. If I have a car that I'm going to keep for a long time, I'm going to like your Huracan. Talk about that for a second. Your very nice blue paint.
Blue Uranus? Blew it out Uranus?
That's going next year.
No, it's not.
It's
Don't
going
say
to
that.
We're trading it in for the hybrid.
So Alex did the clear PPF for our 2023 Lamborghini Technica, which the color really is blue Uranus.
Blue Uranus.
Which I say all the time that there were no Americans in the meeting with the top executive being like, sir, the American sense of humor is very vulgar and we don't think this is a good idea. Because everyone, you're blowing out Uranus. Okay. Moving right along. 2-door or 4-door?
2-door.
Good choice. American Muscle or Euro?
Euro.
I'm not surprised by that answer at all.
I like them both.
Well, obviously. TRX or Raptor?
Better choose
Ooh,
wisely.
you better choose wisely.
TRX.
No, seriously, TRX or
Yeah,
Raptor?
TRX.
TRX, yeah. Convertible or coupe? And when I say convertible, I mean like everything. Spider, hardtop.
It's a Spider.
Yeah, I love the looks of like convertible spiders and stuff, but actually being in the sun in a convertible, I did not like it. So I prefer coupe.
Coupe.
Yeah.
M series or Hellcats?
M series.
Shout out to Austin from AGSD
Okay.
with that full throttle question. Turbo or supercharger?
Turbo. Yes.
OEM plus or aftermarket?
Aftermarket.
Wow.
You do what you want with aftermarket.
And the biggest question of the day, Uncle Billy or Shari Schwick?
Oh, come on.
No comment.
So Alex, do you want to...
Alex.
Baby, do you have any questions or
Yes.
thoughts for Alex?
If somebody comes to you and they have a car, just any car, is there a reason or rhyme that you would say no? Or you're just going to wrap any car? Or do you have a status that you want to stick with?
Asking for a friend.
No.
Yeah.
Kidding.
I'm asking because we've been very fortunate to have the cars we have. And I personally, when I met you that night in the garage, I knew that it was all, you were it. That was it. Nobody else was ever going to do our cars ever again. And now you do everything. You do the lights, you do the interior, everything. And when we spent the week in Florida, I was watching you. I watched you how you closed the door. You told me to leave you alone.
I close the door and tell him to leave me alone all the time.
But is there a time that somebody comes to you and says, yo, bro, I got a Honda Civic, man.
Nothing wrong with the Honda
I want to wrap
Civic.
that gold wheel.
Nothing wrong with gold wrap.
Is that something you...
Like I normally I'm open to like all types of projects.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really say no to, well, it's two things, is motorcycles, because they usually want it quick and cheap, and I don't like doing those type of projects. And I think I've wrapped one bike in my life, and it was not easy.
Okay.
Then the second is people who want wraps because they have like a project car, like what has really bad paint that definitely needs like a ton of body work.
Okay.
They want, like, usually it's a 70s or 80s model car, and they want to wrap it to save money. And I'm just like, I don't want to touch that, because wrap is only as strong as the underlying paint. So if you start wrapping it and the paint starts chipping or the wrap isn't conforming properly, the owner's just going to blame you, right? So you can't really convince someone to say, oh, don't wrap your car because the paint is really bad. So that's usually the times I say no, but most of the time
That's totally legit.
Yeah, I'll try to work with whoever comes to me with a request.
Yeah, you're not going to be treated like a Band-Aid.
Yeah. And I mean, I've, again, going back to Honda Civics, I've worked in every type of model. I started working with, 1990s Civics and worked my way up. Like, I remember the same month that I did a 1990 Honda Civic. I think I did some front end aesthetics or something. I did my first GTR. So it's like these opportunities, they just kind of open up. And I remember when I first started rapping, my biggest moment would be like, one day I want to rap a Lamborghini, right? So it was, I think, 2 or 3 years I was rapping cars, and then one day, I just got this call and say, hey, can you rap this Lamborghini in a week? You have till next week. So, you really gotta manifest what you want, but it's also consistency. Like, if I would have given up year 1, year 2, I would have never had the opportunity. And even with you guys, like, you guys just, when Billy just showed up to my garage and talking to me like what he wanted and stuff like that, and we connected right away, those are opportunities that I try to stay open to.
Oh, that's really cool. So
we
my
have
friend,
a lot of projects.
Yes.
We have quite a few.
Yes. So what did you choose to go behind the wheel of today, Alex?
The STO.
Oh, what do I have in here?
Okay.
Here you go, sir.
Thank you.
I'll take your ride behind the wheel behind the STO.
I don't know if Billy ever told you, but the Huracan was my dream car.
The Evo?
The Evo, yeah. I know you guys don't have the Evo anymore.
So much.
You got the Technica.
It's not the same.
yes,
Didn't you
but
drive
I
the Technica?
I didn't get to drive it. I just got to
Oh,
work
We didn't
on
even
it.
know him then.
Well, Sharon starts giving it to people in Jersey.
Oh,
Our
now the
favorite
real
state-
show starts.
Our favorite state.
Yeah,
Somebody in Jersey got it now.
No, Connecticut. But anywho,
You're in Jersey.
they are in Connecticut.
Who's in Connecticut?
The person who has our Evo is in Connecticut.
Well, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the Technica.
I'm thinking about my Evo right now.
You want me to get it back?
I think so.
No.
I asked Kevin if I can have first refusal. He said yes.
You
Anywho,
said first, what?
anyway, Alex,
No,
thank
we're not
you.
getting it back. Moved on already.
Thank you so much for coming in behind the wheel. I've gotten to enjoy hearing your background stories, and I hope you had some fun today.
Yeah, of course. I know Zero was kind of
Yes.
crazy. He wanted to say some
That's
words
okay.
too.
What do you want to say, Zero?
Yeah, exactly.
And Sherry's the best.
Thank you for having me, though. I really appreciate
My
it.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Sincerely.
we got a lot of projects coming up, so.
Yeah. Enjoy your ride.
I will.
Remember to come home to park.
Trick wheels.
Schwick wheels out, baby.
Yes.
Hi. This is what you chose, sir? All right. Oh, we're gonna pop the lock. Nice.
Oh, that's very tight.
Oh, there's a. There's Any questions? Gotta put the heat on. Will I chill that tonight? I'll do that for you. Compliments. I'll share it, Schwick. Yeah, just stay there. Actually, go back up to STO. Yeah. And yeah, you paddle once to get into drive. And then Schwick's there. Sorry. And that's it. There you go. Uncle Billy rubbed his wheel last day on the curb. Right at a time.
I see that.
No,